So
it's not the fact that I'm having those thoughts, because everyone gets thoughts. Isn't it important what I choose to do with the thought? Isn't that the important part? Or not do with the thought and let the thought just be a
it
thought?
is not important to do with the thought. Yes, in Eastern wisdom, we say that if it is unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, which expresses itself through the impurity, we should just drop it. If we don't drop it, then it creates a chain of thoughts, and the mind creates a cycle. And that cycle continues to get more and more force with the duality of likes and dislikes, with the trio of desire, hesitation, and greed. Third pair is ego and the selfishness. So, where it leads me to? It leads me to ultimately I have accumulated more and more impression of frustration, failure, and anxiety. So, I have already created a saving account, and that saving account is going to trigger me in the future. And that
Yeah.
is how we continue to live in ignorance.
So is the way my mind, it's just a bunch of past impressions and a huge saving account, and that's why I am okay.
Yeah? So it is continuing with the same thoughts. So now what happens? Talks with, so you have talks with the impurity that is known as ignorance, and ultimately restlessness, and that causes. So I have a saving account. So, do I want to keep the saving account? Do I convert that saving account into a fixed account? So if I convert the saving account into a fixed account, that is known as mental disorder.
Yeah.
That is known as a mental disorder. But if I want to remove that saving account, what should I do? That is the question. What should I do? What should I do? We always deviate from here and there. You have a question and I keep on answering.
I know.
So we are not following uh, that book, and that, so we don't ask the question pertaining to the section in the book. Anyhow, pay attention to that because it gives you the 40 steps. You complete all the 40 steps, you are awakened, you are realized.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you want me to talk to you about what's going on in my life or not.
Yes, yes, no. Whatever going on, you should talk, and we get the answer. We go back to the book.
Yeah.
Now, anything that is also very important. The first question that I will answer later: if I want to remove the saving account, what should I do? So, what is going on? What is going on in my life? Should I not talk to you? You must talk to me. That is what the journey is. Should I talk to you? You must talk. But then we must be very clear. There are only two sets of talk that we have. So we do not, our mind does not understand. now,
No,
now you are laughing.
it's just like funny because it's just like, because the mind, it's just crazy.
So, two types of the talk we have. It is all related to suffering. And if we go back, and the suffering is related to mainly three aspects: a sense of insecurity, a sense of dissatisfaction, and a sense of unhappiness. This is the first category. And the second category is that now I have progressed. There is a sign of progress towards self-discovery. So when there is a progress towards the self-discovery, your mind cannot stop talking to me about that. And now the same question I will, if I ask you, how long you are going to complain about your life? Are you not ready to take over?
I know.
Are you not ready to take over these challenges? And so when I ask you that, how long, how long you are going to talk about about the first problem? So that means what? Talk about the first problem that we just discussed. So what that means? So what exactly, what is the goal of my life? I have not said. I have not, or I would say you have understood, but your mind is not ready to understand what exactly is the common desire for every human being and what exactly it means when we answer what is the common desire for every human being. Now see what happens. I love you, so you are my soulmate. Now see that. What happens in life? I say I love you. It is liking and attachment. Then you become my soulmate. You become my soulmate. The moment you become my soulmate, all the impurities in the mind has taken hold of you. When it has taken hold of you, now the mind is working on you.
Why? I mean, like, why? When you think someone's your soulmate, what's wrong? What's wrong with that? I want you to tell me.
Yes, it is basically a non-thinking. It is basically a non-thinking. It comes out of the attachment. Ah, so simple to answer in Eastern wisdom. That is the beauty. It has answered every aspect. Now, soul mate. I don't know about what is soul, and the other guy or girl has become a soulmate. So it comes out due to the non thinking.
Yeah.
And when there is a non thinking caused by the three groups of impurities. And when these three groups of the impurities have taken hold of it, now my intellect is imprisoned in the prison. So what it imprisoned? So what happens? Imprisoned. I do not have a common sense to think rightly. Did you understand?
Yeah.
That
when
is
you're,
why you told me that should I call her or not.
but I
Come
didn't.
on.
I thought with the right. I didn't. I didn't.
You didn't. Yeah, you have taken a right decision. So because of the impurities, you have these chain of thoughts.
Is it? I mean, but it's not possible to not get negative thoughts, is it? I mean, do you
Uh,
get thoughts that you don't want still?
don't blame Biden or the Trump how they rule the country until you become that. So you have a long way to go. First, you realize the highest state of the consciousness, then only I will take this question from you.
Okay.
Whether you have a negative or the positive thoughts or not. But then otherwise it is purely a hypothetical question.
Okay.
Because I have not reached there. I have not tasted the sweetness of that peace and calmness?
Me or you?
Oh, no, I means the seeker.
Yeah.
The seeker has to reach to that state, then only I can say with a conviction that I have negative thoughts, it is not affecting me, or the negative thoughts never returns to me after the realization. So we have two options.
Yeah.
So what happens when I say I told you that I love you, soulmate, non? So these all the soulmate. You can express it, but internally I should be aware that there is nothing, no word like soulmate. Mating with the soul has nothing to do with. We either mate with the physical level. Mating
Yeah.
is physical, purely physical. That is why for animal kingdom we use the word mating.
Yeah.
And so we are very clever, and that clever is guided by the impurity of the mind. That cleverness says soulmate. So that there is a mating of the soul. Really? If there is a mating of the soul is already all pervading, present everywhere. So you need not to even talk on the phone. You need not to have a physical presence. Continue soul mating. Who said
Yeah.
continue soul mating? But that soul mating has a deeper level of likes and dislikes. One pair. Second group is the trio, the desire, not fulfilled, agitation and stress, fulfilled, greed. I want to repeat it. I want to meet it again. Oh, I didn't meet this week, so let me meet it again. My soulmate. You don't have a soul. Your soul has gone to her or him. That is why soulmate. It will not work. It will, and the third trio is that because of these five impurities, you have built an ego. An ego is based on the I thought. So it creates a kind of a selfishness. Selfishness is limitedness. Limitedness causes the sense of insecurity, unhappiness, and dissatisfaction in your life. And now mind is fully working on me. And that mind, when it continues to work on me with these impurities, I live in ignorance, and ultimately, ignorance causes the suffering. This is the entire journey. So now ask yourself, what should I do? What should
Yeah, what should I
or you can ask, what are the steps of Eastern wisdom? You have been always talking about it. You are not showing me. I have shown you, but still you can have the same question. What should I do? So first step is to have that interest and curiosity to end suffering. I should not waste my time in being soulmate, in becoming a soulmate, or in approaching someone to become a soulmate, or we become a soulmate. So at least I should have a minimum courtesy to our intellect. What is that courtesy to the intellect? At least I should think, what the heck, mind, you are doing? When I start thinking about, when I have an unwanted thought, that unwanted thought creates a chain reaction. I have a chain of thoughts, which is an element of the likes and dislikes, and then ultimately it lends up me to the ego and the selfishness. Should I not learn how to remove all of them and to find out who am I? Do I have that sense of curiosity, that sense of urgency in my life? That I must know who am I? It is 100% clear that I am not this.
Yeah.
So that is the first step. So how to do that? So when you keep on thinking about it, that brings you to the second step. briefly we are talking. The second step begins with auspiciousness plus 4 connection. So second step is auspiciousness. What is auspiciousness? Now that is the what is auspiciousness? Auspiciousness means that this particular moment, if there is no thought and there is no unwanted thought, that very moment, that very location, that very company with anyone, that situation, that condition, we can reflect on that it is auspicious. I have no worries. So it comes from the unwanted thought. Why the unwanted thought? I told you, because of the impurities of the mind. And the mind has started working. And I said, hold on, mind, let me see this particular moment, this particular situation, this particular event that we are having. We have no worries. So I have to invoke that auspiciousness again and again before the journey of the Eastern West. So I should not carry the baggage of the unwanted and unwelcome thoughts. Why? So if I don't have an auspiciousness, I will continue to invite baggage of unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. So those unwanted, unwelcome thoughts carry the impurities. When they carry the impurities, then the mind will continue to work on me. When the mind continues to work on me, I will forget all the principles of Eastern wisdom. I live in ignorance, and then I say nothing is happening. So once that is in the second step, we have auspiciousness plus 4 connection. But how to start the journey, at least so that the mind drops those chain of thoughts caused by the impurities, results into ignorance. So that is why we have 4 connection. So the master says, what exactly you should be a seeker. You are a human being, so you have to transition to become a seeker. If you don't become a seeker, nothing will work out. That is the first question. Or you can ask the question, to whom this knowledge is given to. So our master says the knowledge has to be given to a seeker. I tell you an interesting. There are 2 books I'm editing on Hatha Yoga, and now it is going to be published next week. So 2 people are assisting me in proofreading, and they have lot of questions, so I answer them. But I told them that these 2 books contains, the book will be around 430 pages. And in that 430 pages, there is one verse that is most important, that summarizes every teaching. I said, you did the proofreading, and you both have a challenge to find out what it is. And they both have been attending my group sessions, so that is not an issue. So they said, no, we accept the challenge, and now we have to go back and read the book again. I said, the 2 benefits will come. It will be a second time of the proofreading. So other mistakes will also get away with, and you will find the real purpose. That kind of an attention, that kind of an absorption is required from a seeker. What do you know? I should not do a business. While doing the business, you should have that thought. While sleeping, you should have a thought. You wake up in the morning, you should have that thought. What thought? That is the second question. What exactly is the subject matter? Subject matter, you wake up in the morning, do nothing for a few seconds and minutes, just check this moment, this situation, this location. If the mind does not invite unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, that particular moment, that location is auspicious. In that auspicious moment, the second question is, Second question has three main questions. Who am I? I have to understand clearly that what I claim I am is causing the suffering. That I do not want to understand. Why? Because the mind is working on me. The mind doesn't allow you to do that. At the way I feel, I claim I am, is causing the suffering to me, is causing the anxiety to me, is causing the insecurity to me.
What do I claim that I am?
Yes. So instead of claiming I should negate what I claim I am is not helping me, I have to find out who am I. Instead of, so I'm leaving aside, there are a couple of sub questions, so I'm holding on to that. Then the third question comes if the mind is not given the right motivation for any action, it will not work. When the mind overpowers that motivation due to the impurity, it will not work. So our master says, what is that motivation? The motivation is twofold and of all kinds of suffering from life. Masters makes a big claim. All kinds of suffering. And second claim, you awaken to permanent peace and happiness. So in that auspicious moment, if I do not dwell, contemplate on these three questions, where the mind will go, the mind will return to the same old routine, habit, same thought, same soulmate. At least animals are great. We use the word mating for them at the physical level. And we have created such a crazy word, soul mating. Soulmate means soul mating, which is not possible.
But like, what if I want to date and have sex and do all that?
Have sex, clear, physical, like an animal. Animal forget. Go for it. If you have an urge, so you go for it. So you have it and done, finished. But you carry the burden, you carry the baggage. So that baggage is carried by the mental mind of a human being because of the impurity, because of the ignorance that I don't want to remove. So obviously, when you want to go for that physical mating, where the problem is?
The mind.
Problem is in the mind. And the mind has started working on me. So that is why in that auspicious moment, I have to become a seeker. So I will find out what are the qualifications required to become a seeker in order to find out who am I, what is the nature of the world outside, what is your soulmate is the world for you, and her soulmate is you are the world for her. So, and the world is constantly changing. World does not remain static. And what is changing? Mind forces me to make it static, make it steady. Oh, I bought the house, this house, it should remain as it is, it will not remain as it is. Car should remain as it is, it will not remain as it is. So what is the greatest level of ignorance and the mind that is working on me? What it says internally? I don't recognize the change that is happening in me. Because of this, I don't want anyone to change. They should remain as it is. One soulmate, forever soulmate, it is not possible. And that causes a lot of problem. That is why you see that, 10 years ago you were loving me so much, but you don't love me. I have a lot of other stuff to do. Why should I love you? My mind has changed, but I don't recognize it. So when the couple do not recognize, there is always a conflict.
Yeah.
They have an expectation from other, but they don't have any expectation from oneself. Forget about it. I know that is the ignorance. So that is the second step. The third step is very important. So you asked me the question that what should I think of myself? Don't think. The third step is now what you have to think. The science begins its discovery or invention or to find the truth by separating it from the untruth. It finds the reality of the material world by discarding all the possibilities of what is unreal. That is the way the science works. And then you have theories, then you have protocol of the research, etc., etc., etc. Eastern wisdom doesn't work that way. Eastern wisdom circuit, we have three words. First is the real, second is the false, third is the unreal. What do you mean? Is false and unreal are not equal? No. Explain. If you do not understand this clearly, do not apply this knowledge in your daily life, there is no one in the world, including all the gods and goddesses of all the religions, of all the prophets, will not help you. I'm making a big claim, yes. That's not a claim, that's a declaration. What is a declaration is absolute. So, our masters, in order to understand these three terms, they have clearly defined in order to understand what is real, what is false, what is unreal. So, I should apply. Then you have a real answer of what I claim I am is not a reality, it is a false claim that is causing the problem in my life. Do you see?
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So what is real? The real means it existed in the past, it exists in the present, it continues to exist in the future. It is independent, it is unchanging, it is an independent reality, it is self-luminous. So do you mean by self-luminous? It knows itself by itself. It does not need the help of the mind. That is why we use the word absolute reality. And that real self is the absolute reality. The way we change the clothes, the way the real self here will change this body.
Yeah.
Anyhow, but it gives us a better understanding when we understand what is false. But before that, understand what is unreal. Unreal is non-existent. It does not exist. So when I say I am a human being, I have two horns, it is non-existence, it is unreal. I can say the elephant is flying in the sky, it is non-existent. It does not exist. Now what is false? It is in between what exists and what does not exist. What it means further? It appears to exist, but it is not. What do you mean? Again, we ask the question, it appears to exist, but it does not exist. No, give me example. I can give you 1 million examples. And we are We are caught by that delusion in the mind. That is why the mind is working on me. No, give me an example to understand. Do you see the water in the mirage? It appears to exist. When you approach the mirage, it is gone. It does not, it is non-existent. That's why it disappears. You go far away again, it continues to exist. No, you have given very abstract example. Where you are sitting, if you look through your five sense organs and the mind is looking at the earth, the mind says the earth is not moving. Is it true? The earth appears stationary, that is, but still, that is totally unreal. Earth keeps on moving.
Yeah.
My soulmate appears to exist, but it is not. Before soulmate, that person is a human being. You have given a label to him or her.
Yeah.
So you are living in a false. False creates a delusion. Delusion means mind is working on you. Mind is working on you means mind will make you crazy. Whose fault is this? My fault.
Yeah. That's how I still feel with this girl. For some reason the mind tells me that I miss her and that I need to try.
So I have to follow this thought which I am taking. If you want to realize the real self means what? If you want to be soulmate to yourself, you have to think the way I am thinking for you.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a soulmate for anyone in the world, then you are already thinking. You are very good at it.
Yeah.
You are very good at it. So think of this. Unless we clearly understand this, I can give you millions of examples. So when I claim false as real, I am suffering. I have open to suffering. There is no way. For a couple, the man is first a man, then he is the husband. Can the man be husband without a girl?
No.
So I relate it myself, and then my relationship, the way I relate it, is based on false. The girl will remain girl. Because of the girl, she got married, so label is given to her as a wife. I should always, label is given to us. What label? Husband, wife, father, mother, daughter, boss, employee. They do not exist. Tell me. You say that I'm a son of so and so. Show me the son minus you. Show me the husband minus man.
No, you're right.
So we live in that delusion. That is what the Buddha says. Buddha says the world in which I live, I have created. Because I have created out of ignorance. And that world I have created is suffering. Not this beautiful world. You remain detached with the world. Then you see the beauty of the wall and the painting, you see the beauty of the nature, you see the beauty of the mountains, you see the beauty of the summer, you see the beauty of the winter, you see the beauty of this Snowfall, you see the beauty of the planet. Add a label, my house. Remember the three sets of impurities: likes, dislikes, desire, and hesitation. It is not fulfilled, and when it is fulfilled, it's agreed. Remember this five: ego and selfishness. Now you say, house is beautiful. Every house is beautiful. But now when I say my house, the mind says my house is smaller than yours or bigger than yours. Comparison. Likes and dislikes have entered. Desire to have a bigger house than what I live in now. And if it is not completed, it is because of this movement of non-thinking causes the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. I'm answering in a different way. You told me how can, when you realize this, you don't have unwanted, unwelcome thoughts because you don't have impurity.
Yeah.
But you don't have any thought. No. You have a thought when you like to drink a cup of tea or a coffee, you want to go somewhere, you should think first.
Yeah.
But these thoughts do not create any problem. That is the third step. Third step. Real, false, and the unreal. Now we had left. What we had left in the second question, auspiciousness plus who is a qualified seeker? The Eastern wisdom is for them. So we take up that question in the fourth step, that who is a qualified seeker? Who knows clearly all the time, in any situation, in any condition. It filters what it filters: real, false, unreal. Don't talk to me, I will not talk to you. Thank you very much, honey. I think it is better. Who says? Who is a seeker? Who fights and who reacts? Who continues to live with crazy and unwanted thoughts? Who has those impurities in the mind, who likes and dislikes, desire, hesitation? Who is that guy sitting before me? I have to think in this way. So, but what it takes to think in that way?
Yeah.
What it takes to, I have to awaken the two powers. What it takes to think in that way? We have two powers of the intellect. Invoke two powers of the intellect. What are those two powers? One is known as discernment, and other is known as dispassion. Now see that. One is known as discernment. And other is known as dispassion. So what is discernment? Discernment is simply to separate.
Okay.
Why to separate? To filter out what is real and what is false.
How does one know though? What if someone can't quite figure it out?
Does the milk contain water?
Yeah.
It's a mixture. So you have to separate the mixture. You put it into the machine, water is out, and the milk remains. That milk is nothing but the cream. We know it. That is the way to separate. But I tell you a beautiful way, some thoughts are popping up so that you'll be amazed. So basically, discernment means what? Separating. So understand from the physical, then we go to at a little complex level, and then we find out why Master says discernment is the power of the intellect, and we are not using the power of intellect. That is why the mind lives in the non-thinking mode. In the non-thinking mode, that mind will only think about the and impurities of the mind. Likes and dislikes, it will continue to have a desire. Desire is not fulfilled. I will be agitated, and then I will start thinking about the soul mating. There is no soul mating. And then greed, and ultimately I'll talk about the greed later. And then ego and the selfishness. So now think physical level of separation. Many ways. We put our dirty clothes into washer. So we have separated the dirt or the impurity from the clothes.
Mm.
You have a black seed mixed with the rice. How do you separate? You know the physical properties of a rice. It is white in color, and already the black in color appears distinct. So we separate. Milk and the water we separate. So here, what exactly you mean? That is not going to help me if I separate water from the milk. My mind is not going to be. That is what we have to separate from impurity and purity.
Yeah.
We have to separate in our mind while sitting, not thinking about the soulmate, but separating in through the power of the intellect, which is discernment, to separate ignorance from the knowledge, false from the real, by thinking. By thinking. So I have said for example, you go and say to someone that you are my soulmate, it's okay, come back home and think, what is soulmate? Does the soulmate exist? Do I exist before the soulmate, or the soulmate exists before me? Which one is real? Can we not find out? It is so easy. But I do not think. So I do not think, then what I will find out? Impurities, anxiety, duality, conflict, fear, unhappiness, frustration, failure, long list. So I want to remain in the mode of non-thinking. I will cherish all kinds of pleasure. I will cherish the label of a soulmate, and still I want to be in peace and happiness. Not possible. My master used to say that you enter into a river and an ocean knee deep, or maybe the waist deep, and you say, I'm not feeling dryness. I'm still wet. What should I do? Crazy guy, take a step. Come out of the water. My master used to hammer so deeply. Sorry. So we keep on thinking, why the master hammered like this? Am I living into that? Oh, yes. What is that? I am still thinking about my honey did this and that's why I'm suffering. I have to stop that thinking. I have to separate myself from there. And the moment you separate, you are already calm. And that state of calmness, because there is a sense of separation, is known as dispassion.
Sometimes I just feel like I can't stop thinking about certain things like that, like the negative stuff. Like,
That is what I say. I fail to invoke the two powers of the intellect, which is already available with us. It is already available to everyone in the world who is a human being, who calls himself as a human being. For IQ, too much of effort. So this DD, discernment and dispassion, it is a common sense approach. It's a common sense. Why I said common sense, some thoughts are coming spontaneously to me. Did Jesus went to Harvard? Did any master went to the Harvard, Confucius, Socrates? It's a common sense approach.
Okay.
I don't want to apply common sense approach, I apply nonsense approach. You have to, I want to be little tough. So I apply nonsense approach. What is nonsense approach? Full of impurities of the mind. I have repeated many a times in today's session. Likes and dislikes, labeling, false notion. Because of the false, I create a false notion about myself. Why he or she did not call me? Thank you very much. You did not call me. I'm happy and relaxed. But how can I say this? Unwanted thought. Use the two powers of the intellect. The power of discernment. Keep on thinking in a right way. Your house is on the right and you have taken a turn on the left. I have to think. So because you have taken a right turn, but your house is on the left turn, that is an expression you come out that sometime I have lot of negative thought and I keep on thinking, how can I stop? How can you stop the car when you are running in the right direction? When your house is left, you don't ask me the solution. The same solution is here. I have to drive the same car to the left. So when the mind is thinking in one direction, I have to make a choice to think in another direction. But if I do not think, I live into the same mode of thinking and I say that nothing is happening. Who is to blame?
But Girish, am I supposed to replace the thought? Because okay, so if I don't think about that, then what am I supposed to think about?
Start thinking about, I am the real self. I have to find out.
My king. Okay.
I have to discover it. Think and recall the impurities of the mind. Mind, you are moving towards the impurity will cause suffering. Better to stop here. Take an about turn. Think that peace and happiness are my essential nature. Why I am running. Why I am running. I gave an example. The same car has to take a left turn instead of a right turn. The same mind has to think, but it has not to think about the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts because they are filled with impurities, ignorance, duality, conflict, anxiety. That is your personal experience that you have experienced 1,000,000 times. Tell the mind, you start thinking, mind, why don't you understand? I want to know myself. I want to be in peace and happiness. Peace and happiness are within me. You are not fighting with those negative thoughts. You are replacing. You are changing the direction.
Okay. Well, then what about the feeling? That I feel like I miss that person and it feels uncomfortable.
Very good.
How do I change it? How do I change an uncomfortable feeling inside of me?
Yes. Can you tell me any feeling without thought? You think that your mind is posing a difficult question.
Okay.
There is a sensation here. Unless I brand this sensation, how I brand this sensation by a thought. What is that thought? That is an I thought. So I thought, selfishness, supported by a desire, hesitation, conflict, likes and dislikes, gives that brand to that very feeling. You cannot have a negative feeling when the moment you say it is a negative feeling, you have already a thought. You cannot recognize any feeling without an I thought, without a particular thought.
Okay. Yeah, shit.
So, who has asked this question? The mind that wants to remain in the same state. That is the problem. It raises 1,000,000 doubts. Why? It doesn't want to die. Which mind doesn't want to die? Impure mind. Because impure mind lays with the I thought. I already told you, one pair. One pair of impurity, likes and dislikes. We have millions of things. Second is the trio, the three in group. Desire, fulfilled, greed. Because I want to repeat it. Desire unfulfilled, or just have a imagination that it is not going to be fulfilled. It causes the anxiety. It has already started the anxiety, duality, conflict, and problem. So that is the trio. Now all the five, all the five builds an ego. What is ego? It is an I thought, nothing more than that. And
ego is what?
Ego is I thought.
Okay.
I thought. And that I thought surrounds itself with the thoughts that reflects the selfishness. Why don't you call me? He or she didn't call me. Thank you very much, you didn't call me. I rested fully. I have dropped being soulmate. I have dropped the attachment. So it is better if she or he doesn't call me.
So is all that stuff just an attachment?
I told you, yes, that is the partial understanding. The impurity of the mind, the first pair, attachment, detachment. Second group has three elements: desire, anxiety or hesitation, and third point is greed. Then comes the third pair, ego and the selfishness. So 3 to 5 to 7. All these 7 results into mind working on me. And that mind has so much dictating over me. It has a tremendous authority. That is why my mind keeps on thinking the same thing again and again. Why? Because I don't think, I don't replace, I do not change the direction. Internally, I know my house is on the left side and still I drive on the right side.
So, like, okay, let's talk about getting into a relationship with a female. How do I do that in a healthy way?
No, first find out who you are and who wants to relate to someone else to have a relationship. If that is not very clear, forget about any kind of relationship in the world.
Can you explain that a different way? I'm not following.
So I have to understand many issues and many questions much before I want to know how to relate to the others to have a relationship. And the first question is, what is the first question? That who am I who wants to relate to the others?
Okay.
Answer this. Who you are to relate to the others? Are you false? Are you talking about your false person in you? Are you talking about the real person in you? Are you talking about the unreal person in you? Or just you want to fulfill your physical mating issues? That is all that you want to do.
So figure out where it's coming from.
So if I figure out, then I'm clear. And when there is a clarity in the mind, then now, I can proceed ahead. That is the very first step. Now there is 100% clarity. There is no sense of attachment and detachment. There is no sense of ego and the selfishness. So I don't have an over expectation, or I don't have an expectation. I am not craving for anything from you. So why should I worry? We should be very open and frank and candid. How you build a relationship with the money lying in your bank account, how you build your relationship with the hoodie that you are wearing on, how you build your relationship with the house that you are living in, how you build your relationship with the car that you are driving. Is there an issue? No issue.
So anytime, if we're talking about a relationship with a female, for instance, anytime I'm trying to achieve a certain feeling or desire, that's coming from the false mind. If I can't go into a relationship or call someone and try to get them to change how I feel. I have to know who I am and be completely, because I can't search externally for a feeling. And if I were to have called that girl last night, it would be because I was searching to feel something.
Yes.
But now the question is, Girish,
you feel the sense of emptiness in you. That is why you want a relationship. You will
why
always.
do I feel empty?
So if I feel a sense of emptiness and I want to build a relationship, if I feel emptiness and want to build a relationship, it will frustrate you.
Yeah.
If I have a lot of expectations to fulfill and I want to build a relationship, you will fail. It is very clear. You will fail. Because you can build a relationship with other living species like the pet. You can force it. You can dictate them. Sit there. Don't disturb. You cannot say to the human being. You cannot say to the human being. So my mind, due to the craving, due to over expectation, has already that sense of authority.
Yeah.
And that sense of authority, again, find out 7 impurities, ego, and the many thoughts that supports that ego is selfishness. So I am approaching to build a relationship out of selfishness, out of greed, out of desire, out of attachment, out of detachment. Will it work? You know the answer.
So then, Girish, so then really when I say I
On that tense, we have only covered 4 steps. So briefly, I would say it is even not a synopsis. So, briefly, we will cover all the 10 steps And then we go back. We will again pick up the first step. We will understand what changes and modifications that we need to take in our life to get rid of the false, not to get swayed by the unreal, and continue to be in the state of reality is the solution.
You're right. Okay. I think the takeaway, the one thing that I held
And that thought, if it comes from the impure mind, will continue to aggravate the problem. Go back in the very beginning, I said, then you are depositing millions of impressions in your saving account, and that is going to turn into a fixed deposit, and that may return even after 20 years if you are not purifying the mind. They may return after 20 years. I have seen the couple, they became 80 years and then they divorce. What is left with you in 80 years that you want to divorce?
all right, I'm gonna go shower.
If you are going to go shower, good.